autumn equinox is the perfect counterpart to Ostara. Where Ostara is all about the abundance of fertility and conceiving ideas and goals, Mabin is the abundance of harvest and reward for all your hard work. The cycle of our wheel is moving towards completion. The sun's power is waning, and from here on out, the nights grow longer and the days are shorter and cooler. The sap of the trees return back to their roots, deep in the earth, changing the green of summer to the fire of autumn with red, oranges, and gold. We are returning to the dark from which we came. This video is in collaboration with one of my best friends, Priscilla at Release the CRAFTIN. So you see here, Priscilla has an Etsy store that sells such amazing items. We have journal kits such as this one. I love this one. And working with a dark goddess right now is absolutely perfect. Her artwork is so stunning and she just completely blows my mind with everything she creates. She also has a book of shadow pages, prompts. You'll see here that there's some stationery. And next I'll take you to Release the CRAFTIN's YouTube, which is one of my favorite things to watch. She has amazing grimoire flip throughs of her own creations, and you'll see them here. So everything is linked down below. Make sure to hop on over to her channel after this premiere. Okay, so let's get started. I'm so excited to do this corn husk doll. I've always wanted to do one of these dolls, but I always felt that it was kind of intimidating, if anyone feels me on that. I feel like the way they come out, it's so beautiful and so many people have different renditions and they just all look amazing. So I've kind of shied away from it until I've actually done the research. And I saw that it was actually really simple. The base is really simple. You can make it as elaborate as you want. You can do many things. I've seen beautiful corn husks. I'll put them here for you to see. But I think once I really understood the general basis of the things that you need, I just became so excited to share it with you. So let's go over the things that you need. Some of it's optional, but these are the things that I've added to my corn husk doll to see, if it relates to you. And I would like to see more of these things incorporated within spiritual practice. So later on, when we paint our doll, I'll go through some of the history of corn husks. But I think for myself and what I also want to get out of the corn husk, there is certain things that I'm going to be adding, and by all means, they are totally optional. So when I get to those things, I'll let you know that these aren't exactly needed, and you can follow along with me, or you can make just a very simple corn husk doll by yourself or with your family. The first thing you're obviously going to need is corn husks. So I live in Pennsylvania, so right now if you are going like apple picking or pumpkin picking or going to any type of fall festivities, an actual corn husk is so easy to get. So I mean, if I were not doing this for you guys, I would probably go there. I would get really long corn husks because those corns are really big on the stalk. But I know that not everyone lives in the countryside, so I wanted to get something and make this doll with a product that really anyone can get, either on Amazon or in their Latin aisle of their supermarket. So these corn husks are from Badia, and these are really nice, and they're nice and clean. So that takes it out of the prep for you, and they typically come in this this size. So it's like, I have small hands, but it's bigger than my hand, and you can see like the tight end of the husk. So these are perfect, and look how much they come with. So if you were doing this with the kiddos, you could probably get about maybe 2 dolls out of this one Badia corn husk. The second thing you're going to need along with the corn husks is a vessel or some type of bowl to put water in. So when you see here, you have the corn husk. They're pretty brittle. I love how this one has like a shade of pink, if you can see, and we'll color them in later. But they're really hard and brittle, and they'll crack. So to make them pliable, very much like fabric, you will need a bowl with some warm water and let them soak. So a bowl and some water, like we have here, is the second thing that you will need to make your doll. Next item you'll need is some twine, very similar to this. You can make it as thick and as thin as you want. I prefer the thin ones so they can remain hidden. And you're going to need some bendable wire, something like floral wire or anything that really bends. I think you can even possibly use pipe cleaner if you have it in your stash. Next thing you're going to need are some scissors. So this is really sharp scissors that I use for wires. So because you're cutting wires and you may cut your corn dolly, I just always suggest that you use scissors that are meant to cut hard things, because it really ruins your scissors. You wouldn't want to use your nice scissors on the metal pliable wire. So one to cut your dolly and one to cut metal. Okay, so then here are some of the options that we'll be going through, and I would love to see more of this incorporated in some of other dollies that are made. So to me, because I run the apothecary now, I always find really good uses for herbs and oils. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to infuse my dolly with certain herbs that create that Mabon type of correspondence. So the first thing I have here is bay leaves. So, and we all know and love bay leaves for abundance and prosperity. So we will be including bay leaves in our doll. The next one is chamomile, and we all know and love chamomile for rest, relaxation, things like that. So, you know, these are some of the herbs that I want my doll to have now and for when we either dig her in the ground or feed her to livestock for next year's crops. So abundance, which brings in that Mabon, that giving, that sharing, the whole abundance of the hearth and the home. The chamomile is really signifying rest, relaxation. So because we are really right in the depth of our darker half of the year, we're right in the middle harvest Sabbath, we should be really slowing down, resting, spending time with family. So, and you know, as we like to say, it's the witches' Thanksgiving, kind of, you know, getting everyone together and just sharing love, sharing thanks, sharing memories. And I think chamomile is the perfect herb for that. And then of course we have yarrow. So I love yarrow for courage, for protection. So this is perfect for when we embody the corn husk doll for next year, and I will go through that history, but it's always good to kind of keep your doll safe onto the next harvest. And I really would love to signify next year's growth with protection and courage. You're going to need some essential oil. I'm using my ritual oil that you can find in my shop for Magic of Autumn, which is for the Mabon Sabbath. And this is linked below, but you always want to add some fragrance or some essential oil that really hits home with you for this time of year. So Magic of Mabon is made with some of the same herbs. So it's nutmeg, oak leaves, chamomile, yarrow. So I love that nutmeg. I love that spice for our Mabon season. It also has a clear quartz, and the scent is like vanilla and chamomile. It's a really pretty oil. So we're going to dress the water and dress the inside of the puppet's head with that, but you can also use an essential oil. So with the oils, with the herbs, we're setting intentions, we're setting wishes that we would like for the corn husk to help us with. A couple things before I forget. You're going to need either some polyfill. I like using this polyfill so I can put the herbs and the oils inside, but if you don't wish to use these optional items, you can also use newspaper or any type of paper. And then other optional things that we would need are some paints. I have some paints here for when we paint our corn husk. I just chose some really nice harvest type of colors. And of course we need a paintbrush too. So that's pretty much the optional parts, are the paint, are the herbs, are the oils, but I feel like we can just really make our corn husk dolly come to life with the things that we love and the things that we set our intentions to. So let's get started and I'll show you how to create your very own corn husk doll. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is get some warm water. The husks really act well with warmer water and it takes less time for them to get soft. After saying a quick blessing, I go ahead and dress my water with the Magic of Autumn ritual oil that I'll have linked below. You're going to then take a few pieces of corn husk at a time and then let them soak for about 5 minutes. My corn husk doll has a puffy skirt and a top. So I'm going to pull those pieces out and paint them really nice autumn colors. Just be sure to keep them wet and to wrap them in a paper towel so that way when you go to construct her later, they're not dried out and brittle. I really love the colors I chose here. For the skirt, it was more orange, yellow, and red, where the top is darker tones like brown and some yellows. While my doll's clothes are set aside, we're going to create the head. And the head is really simple. You're going to take about 4 to 5 corn husks and then you're going to tie them at the top. Be sure to clip any excess twine or husk from the inside so that way you have more space for your filling. Then you're just going to pull apart your husk as you see here and wrap them behind. You're going to now take some of your polyfill and the herbs that you set aside with the oils and create the inside of your head. If you notice on the top left corner, I still have my vessel with water. It's really important when you're making your special husk doll that any items, herbs, or anything that you cut from the doll gets put back into the earth. So if you see throughout the video, whatever I snip, I basically just put back into the water. After you have stuffed and tied your head, set it aside and it's time to work on the arms. So the arms is where you're going to need the bendable wire. So you're just going to take a corn husk and you're going to roll the wire, and then with your twine, you're going to tie each end. The very ends of these arms will be your doll's hands. I love corn husk dolls with puffy sleeves. So to get this look, you're going to take your husks and place them the opposite direction of your arms. You're going to tie them again with twine, and when you pull them back, it gives it that puffiness, that billowiness to the sleeves. When you have both arms and puffy sleeves completed, you're going to put the two husks together and then just simply tie them in the middle. Next, you're going to take your head, split the bottom apart, and then wrap around your arms. After that's done, you're going to take another piece of twine and then tie at the top of the waist. Now it's time to make your doll's top. I absolutely love that we opted for this darker color. Again, you can see that it's still wet. Make sure that especially these pieces are wet because they have to bend around your doll's chest. 4 pieces, so I'm using 2 on either side, should do the trick. Next, we're going to create the skirt. So easy, and this can be as full or as slim as you want. So I think I've chose about 6 pieces, about 2 in the front, 2 in the back, maybe 1 or 2 on each side, so that way it's really nice and round and symmetrical. Once you're happy with the fullness of your skirt, you're going to go ahead and tie it. Now we're going to take the pieces of our beautiful autumn colors and make the petticoat. Very much like the puff sleeve, you're going to place your husks the opposite way of the skirt, tie, and pull back. Again, I have about 6 pieces, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 2 on the sides. Corn husk dolls have been made by northeastern Native Americans since the beginning of corn agriculture, more than 1,000 years ago. Every part of the ear of the corn was used. Women braided husks for twine and coiled them for containers. Shredded husks were made for kindling and filling of pillows. And then the food was used for the livestock and vegetations. Corn dollies are magical charms thought to protect the home, livestock, and personal wellness of the maker and their family. They were also sometimes used during healing ceremonies or to ward off evil dreams. Most importantly, the doll is a home for the spirit of the crop. It is said that the spirit loses his home after the final harvest. Therefore, these dolls are a really beautiful way to protect that energy throughout the next seasons. The Juanita tribe felt that faces on the doll fell victim to vanity. So therefore, traditionally, corn husk dolls do not have a face, but modern times show them with beautiful painted faces, and it's still a very fun activity to do with your friends and your family. Okay, so I loved how our corn dolly came out. She's so cute, and it was so easy, right guys? If you're going along with me, I would definitely suggest to watch the entire process of making the doll first, and then you can always go back, take it step by step. But if you try to make it while I'm doing it, I always feel just take the time to kind of see what's going on and then go back. But so easy, so cute, and really nice to keep in your sacred space. So next, DIY, we're going to be doing a potpourri, or you can leave the essential oils out and use this for a pot simmer. This is so good if you are having guests over and you want your home to smell nice. This is also really nice to put these in a mason jar or a really pretty like vintage or thrifted jar, tie some ribbon around it and gift it to another practitioner. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but super easy, really nice materials, fresh fruits and herbs and oils. So let's get started. This Mabin Potpourri is jam-packed with spiritual properties. We first have the cinnamon for spirituality and protection, the apple for health, the pear for longevity, oranges for love and caring, The cinnamon again is for protection, and nutmeg is for good luck and clairvoyance. Also used for meditation, which is great for this time of year. And then you can just go ahead and pick your essential oils that you feel are drawn to you for this time of year. I've chosen bergamot, blood orange, and chamomile. You're going to want to do a blessing and make sure before you do any of your crafts that you're casting a circle of protection. So that way, anything that you put out, your intentions, your thoughts, and your feelings are always protected within your circle. When I cut fruit, I always find it interesting to see its sacred geometry. I love the star here with almost like a burst of energy coming out. Just look at these sacred geometries, look at these numbers. What do they mean to you? A pentacle, or you can see a 4-pointed symbol, which often means strength, stability. It's just so good working with fruit and finding these hidden messages. Once all your pieces are cut, you're going to want to cut them pretty thin too, so that way they don't spend so much time in the oven. So put them on the non-stick mat like I have here. Do your oven for about 300 to 350, and you want to leave it in there for a few hours. That should get them to a nice crisp. If you want them to maintain their color and not get so dark, you need to leave it on a lower temp for longer. But I kind of love the rusticness of these dark pieces in juxtaposition with the orange slices. Lastly, you're going to want to take a bag, put all of your dried fruit and herbs in here, and this is when you will put your essential oils and your cinnamon and nutmeg. You leave the oil and the powder for last, so that way the powder can hold on to the essential oil, and that's what keeps your potpourri fresh. Anytime you feel that your potpourri has lost its scent, you can always put more essential oil and then rebag it and then toss it around again with some fresh cinnamon and nutmeg. Also, like I mentioned, doing a pot simmer is one of my favorite things, especially before guests come. So if you take out the essential oils, you can always use your dried fruits and herbs and just simply put them to boil in a pot of boiling water. That will leave your home very fragrant and welcoming for hours and hours to come. You guys, this smells so good. I absolutely love the way our Mabin Potpourri came out. It's really nicely housed in a pottery bowl right next to our very special corn dusk dolly. Again, this will be beautiful put in a mason jar for a gift, or you can just enjoy it as an offering for your sacred space. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye guys.